This demonstration is Showcase Your Off-Market Listings and Buyer Needs, an exclusive look overview. Before we begin, I do want to say that we appreciate you watching this video since this program is optional and discusses best practices for your consideration. If you are thinking of adopting any of these, please make sure to review the requirements in your local region with your broker or branch manager, especially those related to contacting consumers. I also want to highlight the importance of the Telephone Consumer Protection Act, better known as the TCPA. The general rule is that it's okay to contact people if that person recently gave you their phone number, but remember to check the DNC list regularly if you haven't spoken to that person in a while. You will also want to check the DNC list anytime you don't have express permission. Automated calling and texting platforms should never be used. Pre-recorded messages and artificial voices should never be used. You will be personally liable for any violations of the TCPA. To navigate and use the CBR Do Not Contact system, first sign on to Desk, then click on the tile for Do Not Contact. You'll then be able to type in a phone number, either a single record or multiple records to be checked, and the results will show records for federal, state, and anywhere advisors company do not call lists. When it comes to marketing a property, networks matter. Capitalizing off one of the largest and most established networks within the industry, Coldwell Banker took what was once a limited grassroots effort and scaled it up to a national application to help connect Coldwell Banker affiliated agents and clients early and often. Exclusive Look is a powerful platform for our affiliated agents to share listings with other Coldwell Banker affiliated agents before those listings are placed in the MLS. Key features include gaining early access to listings before they go on the MLS, creating early demand for those listings, price testing a listing without adding days on market, and sharing buyer needs to uncover hard-to-find properties. Today's demonstration will cover an overview of the entire tool, including the daily digest from Exclusive Look, demonstrating how to post sneak peeks, CV exclusives, and wants and needs for your buyers. To access Exclusive Look, first sign into Desk by navigating to mycbdesk.com and entering your company username and password. Once I'm on Desk, I can utilize the Find an App button to type in Exclusive Look and narrow down my tiles to the Exclusive Look tile. Once I click on Exclusive Look, I will be taken to this landing page. The first thing that I would recommend is double checking your profile settings because any listings or wants and needs that you post in the system, it will automatically pull in your picture, name, and contact information from your desk profile. To double check that, click on Profile in the top right, and then click on My Profile, which will open up Desk Profile Manager. Here, you could make sure that your photo is updated, that your contact information is correct, etc. If you make any changes, make sure to hit the Save button at the bottom of the page. Once we've confirmed that our contact information is correct, let's get acquainted with the Exclusive Look platform. The first thing that I want to bring your attention to is these 4 tabs at the top of the screen: Listings, Wants and Needs, Posts, and Settings. We're going to go through each one of those 4 and talk about all of the things that we can do to best utilize this platform. Let's start off by exploring how we can search for listings and wants and needs. First, we're going to start on the Listings tab, and if you haven't made any changes to your account, it should show a default search for listings within 25 miles of your office. If you wanted to make any changes to those criteria, you can do that by adjusting the location in the bar here. You can adjust the price range. If I wanted to, I could also change the beds and baths. And under the filters option, I can do things such as increase my square footage range. I can also change property type, and increase radius. One of the things that you notice when you change your default search, you will now have a new button to save that search. So if we ever want to quickly revisit this same search criteria, we can. Let's do that now. I'm going to hit Save Search. You can see that I do have the ability to update an existing search. In this case, though, I want to save a brand new search, and I'm going to label it as demo just to keep it separate because we're going to check on that in a second, and I'm going to show you how to revisit that criteria. So I'm going to say demo listing. You'll also have two additional options. If you were to click this checkbox for default listing view, what that means is whenever you go back, second checkbox is whether you want to automatically receive emails with properties that match this criteria. Don't worry, you can always come back and edit these settings as well, and I'll show you how to do that in just a second. In this case, I'm going to leave them unchecked, and I'm going to save that search and click on the tile for exclusive look. It is going to bring up that search as the first thing that's displayed. When you're browsing different properties, you can always click on the address to bring up more information and pictures of that listing, as well as information about the listing agent. So here I can click on the pictures to be able to view photos. I can view the description, the neighborhood, and any other additional listing information that the agent would have added. If I wanted to, share this with my client, I do have that option as well. Moving on, let's check out the Wants and Needs tab, and it works very similarly. So if we wanted to search for wants and needs posts from buyer's agents, we can do that here as well. Again, it's going to default to areas within 25 miles of your office address. But again, we have the ability to change location, and I can put in multiple locations as well. Again, I can adjust price range, beds, bath, as well as property type and radius as well. If I wanted to view more information about that post, again, I can see more information about what Ali Lee's client is looking for, as well as a very convenient way to contact that buyer's agent. I'm going to go back to search results, and I'm going to save this buyer search as well. Again, we're going to call it demo buyer, and I'm going to hit save. The next tab at the top is posts. And what this will do, it will keep track of any listing or wants and needs posts that you have created. You can see that under my account, I have 2 posts, and we'll come back to this once we post our own, and I'll show you some of the management tools that we have. For now, though, I'm going to move on to the next tab, which is the settings tab. So on the settings tab, first we will see any of the save searches that we have created for listings. So each of these represents ones that I have previously saved. You can see the one that we did together called demo listing. And over on the right, you can see kind of those check boxes that we skipped before. If I wanted to go back and show this as my default login search, I can do that. If I want to make sure that listings that match this search are emailed to me, I can do that as well. Just below that, I have any buyers wants and needs searches that I have saved. Again, you can see my demo buyer search. I have the ability to show that as default and be emailed wants and needs posts that match that criteria. Further down, I have some more general email options. So this is where I can opt in and out of those weekly emails. So the first one is for exclusive look, and this will allow me to set it up if I want to automatically receive exclusives and wants and needs that kind of match my general area. And I can say I want to receive them daily, weekly, or both. Right, so any of those listings or buyer wants and needs that have been selected via email. One-day sneak peeks, we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get back to listings, but essentially one-day sneak peeks are notifications of a listing one day before it hits the MLS. Global listings refer to, notable international luxury listings. You can be sent those as well. That is also known as the exclusive look digest. And then exclusive look matches, again, we'll come back to this, but when you create a post, you can actually see if there are any agents on the other side of the transaction that have created a post for the same search criteria. And this is going to make more sense in a second. I would absolutely recommend that you turn this on though, as this is one of the most powerful features of the platform, is to match two agents together. One of them has an off-market listing, one of them has a buyer's need. So would absolutely recommend that you leave that on. So now let's move into how we can leverage exclusive look by posting our own off-market listing. So I'm going to go back to the listings tab. And let's say that I have a signed listing agreement, but I want to do kind of a pre-marketing period before that listing hits the MLS. To do that, I'm in the top right, I'm going to click on add listing. And the first thing that's going to ask me is whether this is a CB exclusive or a sneak peek. We're going to start off with CB exclusive. And you'll see that you do have to confirm that you've submitted the listing file to your office, that you have executed a CB exclusive listing addendum, that you're following any applicable MLS rules, submitting an MLS waiver when applicable, etc. The CB exclusive listing addendum is available in the zip form Coldwell Banker library, so I am going to confirm. For you, it should automatically pull in your name, contact information, and photograph. For me, it will allow me to manually enter that information, and you can always manually enter that information as well. So I'm going to start out by entering information. The first thing that I want to bring your attention to, as we're just kind of moving through this, is this checkbox to share with public sites. What this will do is it will put a notification on Coldwell Banker Homes that there is an off-market property that matches the criteria that a consumer is looking for. And I'll kind of show you what that looks like. So if someone was searching for 3-bedroom homes in the greater San Francisco Bay Area, they will be able to see this banner that there are 5 CB exclusives in San Francisco. And if they were to kind of follow through with this contact form, you as the listing agent would be notified of that lead information. If you did not want that to appear on Coldwell Banker Homes, you can always uncheck that. You also have the option to dictate who receives those leads. So, if this is a co-listing or if you have maybe a member of your team that primarily works with buyer's agents, you do have the ability to funnel those leads to another agent. Further down, it gives me the option to add editors to this listing. So that's exactly how it sounds. Again, if you have a co-listing agent, a team member, or maybe a staff member that you would want to be able to access this post in exclusive look in order to do things like upload photos or add the marketing description, you can also search for that person's name and add them as an editor as well. When you add someone, will appear in this bottom section. So you can see that this listing will be submitted with the agent of Dawn, but I am an editor. Going back to the top of the right column, I'm going to continue on with adding information about the listing. So address, city, state, zip, etc. Price, we'll put $1 million for now. You can see that certain fields are required as denoted by an asterisk. So I do have to say property type, single family. I do not have to say buyer brokerage compensation, for example. I do have the ability to put beds and baths, although it's not required. I am going to put in a description. We'll just put testing for now. And I'm going to upload a few photos. To upload photos, I can simply drag and drop photos into this space, or I can click on the button to browse my computer, select photos to upload, and they will be added in here. One thing to note is that you do have to add a tag for every photo. Again, you can see that it's denoted with an asterisk. So simply I would come in and say, okay, exterior, exterior. I happen to upload all photos to the exterior. If I wanted to, I could also add a virtual tour link, a property website link, and then the final option is to set an expiration date. So the exclusive look expiration date should match the date that is on your listing exclusion waiver. It is essentially the same date that your property will be entered into the MLS. The maximum amount of time in the future that you can set this to is 2 months. It is possible, however, to go back in and edit that listing in order to extend the CB exclusive expiration date. Once I am finished with that, I am simply going to say add listing. And in this case, I won't add it because I don't want it to be matched. But once a listing has been added, it will show up under the Post tab. So as a listing agent, I have an active post. If I wanted to get more information about how that is performing, I can simply click on that listing address. And, I am able to kind of see how many views that it's getting, which offices or which areas are interested in that listing. And one of the key things that you'll see is whether this listing matches any existing wants and needs posts. So unfortunately, I don't have any matches right now, but the next thing that we're going to do is create a wants and needs post, and I'll show you kind of how that matching feature works. Before we do that, I do want to jump back to listings, click on add listing. We did skip over the option for sneak peek. A sneak peek is essentially sharing your listing nationwide to participating agents one business day before it hits the MLS. A sneak peek is considered public marketing, and so you do need to make sure that you enter that listing one business day from entering it into this program. The difference, as you can see, between CB exclusive, so CB exclusives, again, are only shared with associated agents of your brokerage, not shared with Coldwell Banker affiliates, not shared nationwide. Sneak peek, again, all Coldwell Banker agents nationwide, but it is considered public marketing, and so your listing must be entered into the MLS within one business day. The process for adding a sneak peek is exactly the same. So now let's talk about adding a wants and needs post. Again, I'm going to click on the blue button in the top right, and you'll see that it is very similar to adding a listing. I would enter in my agent information if I wanted to add any editors to the post, and then, my buyer search criteria. So I can add up to 10 locations. So we'll say we're looking at San Francisco, Daly City, up to $3 million. We'll go single family. We'll say that it's a cash offer, right? Whatever my buyer search criteria is. So now I have an active buyers post, and a really cool thing. So if I click on my post now, it'll actually show me the listings that match my search criteria. If I then wanted to reach out to that agent, I could always click on that listing, get to their information really quickly. As we wrap up this demonstration, I want to remind you about our amazing marketing support resources available that can be found at coldwellbankermarketing.com. Here you can browse through the latest edition of the marketing catalog, sign up for an upcoming workshop, view on-demand marketing education via our YouTube channel, and book a virtual marketing appointment via Next Available. If you'd like, you can pause the video now to scan the QR code on your screen, or visit coldwellbankermarketing.com to take advantage of these amazing marketing resources anytime, anywhere. Thank you.